Hey everybody, Anna Sabramowitz here. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Today I want to talk to you about building. I want to talk to you about your portfolio piece, solving big problems and jumping off the deep end and taking action. Okay, so if that sounds exciting, hope you stick around. I'm just going to bring up my chat here so I can see your comments. Now, I'd love to hear in the comments where you guys are at with developing your own influential, powerful, people moving, motivational e-learning, because that's what I talk about here. That's what interactive storytelling is about. And I wanted to share a story with you, and it actually, as a result of a conversation I had with one of my students in our session on Monday, because we run our coaching sessions on Mondays and Fridays. Thanks so much for being here, by the way. You better say hi in the chat if you're visiting. So, one of the things that came up during our session, and the people that join my coaching community are people who are trying to develop their own interactive stories, and they want guidance and coaching to do that, right? And so one of the students said, I'm hesitant to get started because, I don't have a perfect client for this. I don't have, I don't have somebody who's bought into interactive stories, so I want to wait until I have a client. And to me, that sounds reasonable. But let me tell you why you need to be unreasonable in those moments, okay? So years ago when I went freelance, some of you may know this story, but I'm going to tell it again. I went freelance. I worked in corporate land and academia, did stints in both for a long time. And I found that the only way I could grow myself professionally was to do projects on my own time, because the things that we were producing in-house were basically the things that would not make any waves, or we were so busy with just trying to tread water that any kind of innovation was pushed aside for the sake of producing. We were just basically machines asking to be produced as much as possible. Volume was our master. And so that's what we did. We basically ran around with our chickens, like with our heads cut off, trying to keep up with the volume. So in the evenings and weekends, that was my time to work on myself and innovate. And I got my own license of Articulate Presenter. That's how old I am. It was cool and new at the time, guys. And I did that work on the weekend so that I could play with it in the way that I wanted to. Now, when I went freelance, I thought, oh man, this is it. This is my opportunity. I'm going to finally do the kind of work I want to do, right? And what happened was, it was more of the same, man, more of the same. I got one of my first contracts in freelance. I was like, yes, I've made it. I got 12 modules to create, right? And I was like, this is it. I'm doing it. I'm living the dream. And module 3, I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? This is so boring. People are going to hate this. They're never going to make it to module 12. What is this about, right? The problem was, and hi, Kate. The problem was, I was living in an L&D echo chamber, right? Like, especially because, and this still happens, I talk to people every day, because, Articulate Presenter was an add-on to PowerPoint, it's kind of interesting, because I think what it is it borrowed that mindset of PowerPoint and slides, and it still has the same, Articulate Storyline, it still has the same language. So a lot of people think that it's what we're really doing is dressing up PowerPoint, and that's what e-learning is. But that's not true. But you can't really undo that in our world right now, when people begin with PowerPoint and they think that this is just an add-on, right? I talk to people every single day who have been in the industry for like over a decade, 2 decades, and they really think that that's how you build e-learning. And that's fine, but that's not for me. And so what happened is, I did those projects. I had to pay the bills, and after a while I said, there's got to be something more out here than me making PowerPoints pretty. Those contracts still come up, right? I still get asked, hey, can you take this and convert it to this? I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. You're asked to do this every single day, especially with what's happening right now. You're totally being asked to take basically info dumps and turn them into info dumps online, right? But that's no excuse. That's no excuse for you not to push yourself. So what I did is, with my partner Ryan, we had an opportunity to join the Storyline beta. That's right, the beta, when it was just getting launched for Articulate. And they had a competition. They said, hey, let's put out something that will be a demo of the best that we want to see in the world, right? Let's put together an experience that we would love to, as adults, enjoy ourselves. We might want to go through it more than once. And it has all the elements that delights us, right? Which is huge. Yeah. So we bit the bullet. That was one of the best experiences for me. I didn't have a client. I was my own subject matter expert, but there's so many benefits to that. And there's also a lot of fears, and I think that's why people don't go for it. And that's why today I just wanted to talk to you about why it's very important that if you're struggling with the status quo at your work, if you're struggling with getting the kinds of clients that will be open to interactive storytelling and scenarios, you don't need to wait for somebody else to give you permission to do amazing and creative work. Students in my coaching community are doing this every day. They're not waiting for somebody to say, yes, you may. What they're doing is they're saying, I'm going to craft something awesome, like I did in Broken Coworker, and put it out there. Now, this is what is super cool about how this student is going to take it. I know that this person is very, very passionate about some specific humanitarian missions out in the world, some causes, also some safety things that she's been involved in that she knows that she can improve, right? So basically, all of us as humans in the world can see problems that we'd like to fix. Now imagine your portfolio piece is not just some slap of a bunch of pieces of, screenshots which have no context and nobody cares about. Imagine what you put out there is a real piece of learning, a real piece of it's an experience that actually gives people's ahas and moves them to take action. And if that action is to donate to a cause, if that action is to click on a button to see more about a certain event, if that action is to reach out to somebody to help them, imagine that. Imagine that. That is in your grasp. It's cool. I don't know if you guys have ever checked out that movie called Bandersnatch. It's the first Netflix interactive film. Super awesome, right? If you haven't checked it out, totally do it. It's awesome. It's not the movie itself, but it's the fact that they've been able to integrate interactivity into a motion picture. Super dope. Now, what's cool about that is they probably spent millions and millions. In fact, I know they spent millions and millions and years, right? To craft an experience where you have a story where you feel in charge. Guess what? You, yes, I'm talking to you, you have that power. I've had students put together interactive stories in 6 weeks with software that is available to all of you for a small investment or free for 2 months, for goodness sakes. You have that power. You have the power to engage people. You have the power to craft something. Now, this is why I say go all in, craft something meaningful, and here's the benefit to it. If you have a portfolio piece that is not just sitting there on your site and people are like, oh yeah, it's just another developer. Imagine if you have a portfolio piece that actually solves a problem for people. So one of our students, one of the problems that he's solving is people are afraid to be honest with their parents about their wedding plans. They're not religious anymore, their parents are, and they feel a lot of pressure. How do you deal with that without alienating your parents? Real problem in the world? Heck yeah. Is that something that's going to be shareable and people are going to want to share it with people who are struggling with that? Heck yeah. It solves a problem. So regardless of whether he gets, counseling or he gets clients from it, period, that's still going to help people because the whole thing is like a lesson. It's a lesson and it helps people get ahas. Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful? Yes. Shareable? Yes. This is one of the benefits. He has full autonomy on this creative project. He can make it as awesome and as beautiful as he wants. The other thing is that he gets to solve a problem in the world and feel good about that. It's a problem he cares about. How many times have you put together a portfolio piece or done work for a client where it's just, Now you get to choose the topic. Amazing. Amazing. Isn't that amazing? I hope you guys agree. Another thing is that, and this is, I think, the piece, you can move very quickly on these things. Because you have full creative autonomy, 6 weeks is no issue, right? And one of our students, Diane, that's what she did. She was like, and it's kind of cool. She was actually working with a client, but because she had the momentum and the support, she was able to iterate very quickly, let go of her ego and said, I'm going to make this the best product I can with this client. And I know we're going in the right direction. Let's just keep that vision, there, but the way we're going to achieve it fluid. Amazing, right? So you have the power in your hands to right now build something awesome, solve a real problem in the world, and get your name out there without waiting for somebody else to tell you, yes, we're going to give you permission to do this, or persuade anybody else. Will your piece be a better persuasion piece than you going out saying, hey, can I do this creative project for you? Hell yeah! How do you think I got all of this work? Is because I created Broken Coworker that then led people to share it, because bullying, it's an interactive story about bullying, and then everybody shared it, and then some organization said, this is awesome. I want more of this for my organization. Who built this? Can I get more of that? Dude, it works, okay? It absolutely works. Now, there's a reason you're not gonna do this. Here's some reasons. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the reasons? Okay. So I see this. This is what happens. And I'll post posts. You know, I can pump you up. I can pump you up, and I can make you, motivate you all I can, right? Give you, those really great quote slides. Yay, to seize the day. In the end, it's going to come down to you believing that you can and taking extreme ownership of that situation. A lot of us, and I see this in the comments that come up when I say, hey, who's responsible for terrible e-learning? A lot of people will say things like, well, it's the client, they don't have vision. It's the SMEs, they don't have vision. It's the process, it's hindering me. That's all BS, man. Everybody has those problems. If we all just lay down and said, oh, it's everybody else, well, that's easy, right? You don't take ownership of that. That's easy. That's the easy part. And so one of the things, when you don't have a client and when you have to do the work on the weekends, say no to Netflix, say no to some outings, say no to some barbecues, say no to some stupid stuff like video games, whatever, you're going to have to say no to some things and say yes to taking responsibility and ownership and say, yeah, I'm going to do this for me, and I'm going to do this for the cause that I want to impact. And the future me that's going to have this piece, that's going to be a feather in my cap, right? That you're going to own fully. You are no longer now, this is another thing that a lot of us struggle with. I talk to people every day who say, I've been in this industry for 20 years. I've worked at these amazing places and I have zero to show for it because every single piece has been proprietary. I can't even do anything, right? And I'm like, okay, that's the reality of your life right now. What are you going to do about it though? Can you build something on your own time? Heck yeah. Am I going to be here to support you? Of course I am. Is there others that will support you? Yes. You just have to take that action. You just have to do it. Now, it is scary because if you don't get it done, guess who's to blame? You. If it's not done, I can't impose a deadline on you. You got to own that. You will have nobody to blame if it's not finished. And if you don't get feedback, you'll also be to blame if it sucks, right? So one of the things that I wanted to do with our interactive storytelling community is to not only give you the place to get support, because a lot of us, to break out of the status quo and do things that actually challenge us, have to do this on our own time. That's the truth. That's status quo it's real, baby. The struggle is real. But the other thing is that a lot of us are on this journey, especially if you're a freelancer. I'm lucky. I had Ryan, my partner, to help me. But a lot of it is you. It's you by yourself, right? You sitting by yourself, trying to get yourself up in the morning, be motivated to do all the client work, trying to reach out to find new clients. That's a lot of work. And a lot of us are also now isolated where you don't get the support that you need. And I gotta be honest with you, even when I was working in organizations with hundreds of other people, the L&D role is different. You're always looked at as like you're an add-on. I remember once being told that I was the only department in the organization that was a full expense, that there was no value that I added. Imagine working at a place like that and feeling that every day. Welcome to the club, right? So one of the things in our community is not only do you get the support when you need it, but the other piece is that you can't create something awesome if you're not getting feedback on it. So when I see those, ELH challenges, I'm like, hey, that's cool, that's great, but that's your first stab. And you cannot get good by just putting out something once and not iterating on it. You cannot, right? It's like saying, this is my first draft of a novel, it's good enough. Malcolm Gladwell goes through iterations and iterations and iterations. And that's, some people aren't comfortable with that. They want to just put something out there, get applause, and then start the next fun project. Now, writing creatively, refining visual communication, making sure the UX and the UI is awesome and it moves people from one state to another, that takes time, that takes effort. That's why you need the work. You need to iterate on your work. You need to test it with people. And that's why you need to do this for yourself, as far as I'm concerned, because you got to be your own number one fan. I can be there in the background saying, hey, I'll support you, I'll give you feedback when you need it, but you got to drive that process. And for a lot of people, that's very scary because they've never done that before. They've always waited for permission, right? Somebody else is always out there. Now, if you're ready to take ownership and you want some help and you want to see how I can help you get there, and maybe your community the community that we have is a good fit for what you're trying to achieve, I will help you. Regardless, I want you to take action. There's not enough building going on. There's a lot of verbal hobbies. There's a lot of talking about what the best thing should be, but not enough actual work going into what it takes to craft meaningful pieces. All right? So I hope this was the kick in the butt that you needed today. And hope it inspired you to realize that you don't need permission from other people to craft things that break the status quo and move people from apathy to action. You don't need any of that. You just need your own initiative. And if you want some guidance and your feedback, you want to talk through what that means, what that is like, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put the link to my calendar underneath this video because seriously, I want to help. All right? I want you to experience the kind of satisfaction I had every time I share Broken Coworker, knowing it's mine. It helps, resonates with people. It helps them feel empowered, and it gets me clients. All right? So hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Any questions or comments, you guys better post them in the chat. Otherwise, talk to you soon. Bye.